Hi everyone, Mon here, Intuitive Soul Savant. Welcome back to the channel. The channel is called Intuitive Soul Savant. Lovely to see you back here. Please like the video, subscribe. YouTube has changed its algorithms, so there's many who have lots of subscribers losing 50 a day or what have you. So please help it along. I'm going away in a couple of weeks and I'm going to have that time to be able to take a look at other options of where I can put my videos, because it's really hard with the algorithm for me, for sure. So we've got a big week this week. We had a quiet week last week. We've got a big week this week. We've got our planets ingressing into new signs. We have a new moon. It's Saturday here. Australia time. We have a new moon at 6 a.m. in the morning, Sydney time, Sunday, and that will be Saturday for you guys in the Northern Hemisphere. The new moon is at 25 degrees 58 minutes, and this new moon sits in the midpoint of Venus in Gemini and Mars in Aries. All right, it's exactly-ish the midpoint, and also this new moon will be conjuncting a fixed star called Argol. Okay, now this will only work in your chart as a conjunction. It's at this fixed star sits at 26 degrees Taurus. It doesn't work as a trine, it doesn't work as a sextile, it doesn't work as a square or an opposition. It is a conjunction only because it's so far out, okay, in the solar system. But with this Argol energy, Argol is associated with Medusa, the myth of Medusa, okay, and the losing of the head, all right? So as much as the moon loves to be in Taurus, its favorite place in Taurus, the moon, we are in between that feminine Venus and masculine Mars, all right? So we don't want to lose our heads is basically the astrological advice. With Taurus, yes, we know they're stubborn. Okay, that's a shadow side. But if you push Tauruses too far, they're bulls. You could lose your head if you've been pushed too far. You're out of alignment with your action taking and your magnetizing in. Okay, so that's the only thing there to be careful of. Some astrologers are sort of giving some big negative energy to this new moon. It is trining my natal sun, so I'm feeling great about all this. Okay. And I like Taurus's energy. It's very earthy, it's very grounded. And after we've had our Scorpio full moon, this is the partner of that. So we have a new start, a deliberate start, Taurus, a slower way to move forward, all right? Slow in a positive, okay? So that's Sunday here, Saturday, Northern Hemisphere, that new moon. Now, Monday, we have Venus in Gemini, sextiling Chiron in Aries. That'll be Sunday for you guys. All of these aspects are the day before for you northern aspects to what it is here in Sydney, because it's early morning, the exact time of the aspects. Okay, so that'll be the day before for you guys in the northern hemisphere. So Venus in Gemini will sextile Chiron and Aries at 28 degrees, 27 minutes. Venus in Gemini, very get about communicating in relationships, all right? So Venus has been very busy getting out and about to its different friends and groups, communicating via email, online, letters even. Yes, they still are out there, letters. And with Chiron in Aries, we're getting to the late degrees of Chiron in Aries. It will ingress into Taurus and come back into Aries, but we've all had an opportunity with Chiron in Aries, Chiron the wounded healer, to have a look at where we have been letting ourselves down in not caring for ourselves, Aries, not doing ourselves, okay? So, that Venus in Gemini is giving us maybe the mundane awareness that, yes, we have a little bit more to do as far as healing the self, okay? Now, Venus is always about others. In relationship, Aries is, the I am presence. I've got to look after me. So that is a nice aspect there to continue along our self-care. The Venus in Gemini, we may want to help any of our friends, our social friends, to help them to care for themselves, okay? The same day, we have Mercury conjunct Uranus. Now, this is the first time that Mercury will be conjuncting Uranus in Gemini. This will probably happen down into the future for the next 6-7 years, so once a year, unless Mercury, I haven't looked, but Mercury may retrograde in Gemini, but no, I don't think that's happening. We're going into our retrogrades in fire signs. Fire signs. So Mercury conjunct Uranus. So Mercury is all about our thinking, our local thinking, mundane thinking. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. So we could have some insights flash into our mind when the Mercury conjuncts the Uranus in Gemini, okay? Whoa, where did that thought come? But wow, that's a great thought. We could get new ideas for ourselves or anything that we're working on creatively. That's a lovely energy for that. And we will also maybe have a little uncomfortability with our mind rolling over, moving too fast, thinking too fast, and with Uranus, it can be in the body as well, the central nervous system, okay? So, quietening the mind might help with Mercury conjunct Uranus in Gemini. Meditation, yep, you can meditate and the mind can be a little bit busier than it normally is, and, much more awareness to harness that mind on the breath or whichever way that you meditate. Okay, so that's Monday here, Sunday, Northern Hemisphere. Now, Tuesday, we've got 4 aspects. This is a busy week. Last week, quiet week. This week, busy week. And, the energy of the whole week is around Mercury and Venus, okay? For me, because it is the midpoint. This new moon, it's the midpoint of Venus and Mars, all right? So the Tuesday morning here, Mars ingresses into Taurus. Now, Mars has been very busy in Aries, free rein to take action, to move fast. Lots of people have told me that they've cut themselves or, Mars energy can be so focused on moving ahead that it often doesn't stay in the body to sort of, to be careful of ourselves, cuts, knocks, bruises, all that sort of thing with Mars in Aries. So Mars has to slow down now in Taurus. Taurus is a more deliberate sign. It's very grounded. It's very earthy. It's conscious of its movements, okay? So we've got to pull Mars back a little, okay? But we can take action in beautifying our homes, Taurus. The gardening, we may have a backload of gardening that we need to do. We could be doing cleaning out cupboards or what, using the Mars energy to comfort ourselves and our home. Yeah, okay. So Mars ingressing into Taurus, Venus ingressing into Cancer. So that'll be lovely. Venus has been very busy in Gemini, communicating with all its friends and groups. And now Venus gets a chance, we get a chance to use the Venus energy to maybe socialize in our own home, dinner parties, having people over for lunch, nurturing others, nurturing our group of friends, okay? Venus is always about others, okay? And it's about beauty and comfort, all right? All the nice, sweet things in life. And, you know, you will have to watch that with Venus in Cancer because, you know, Cancer ruled by the moon, likes nice food and sweet things, and so does Venus. And, you know, we may have to watch we don't overindulge in our comfort at home, all right? So that's Venus in Cancer as well on Monday, Tuesday. We have Mercury sextiling Neptune. Now, Mercury has moved into Gemini. It has already conjunct Uranus, and now it's bang. The next day it's going to sextile Neptune. All right. So Mercury, communications, very busy, having the mind, the discipline of the mind to meditate. Okay. Mercury getting about in Gemini, we may want to go and watch a movie. We may just want to sit and dream and imagine. You know, that's that Neptune in Aries, you know, but it'll be about ourselves, okay? Mercury sextiling Neptune in Aries, it'll be something that we can do for ourselves, okay? Also that day, we've got Venus sextiling Mars at 0 degrees 14 minutes. So Mars is now in Taurus. The same day, Mars ingresses into Taurus and Venus ingresses into Cancer, and Venus sextiles Mars, all on the same day, okay? So Monday, Tuesday, that's a big day of energy, okay? New energy coming in from Mars and Venus, you know, Mercury sextiling Neptune, Venus sextiling Mars, all right? Yeah, big days, Monday and Tuesdays, as far as as far as ourselves go and as far as others go. But you get to choose, you know, you get to choose. We're dealing with Taurus and Cancer here, earth and water, all right? And they mix beautifully. They mix beautifully. So on Wednesday, Mercury will square the nodes, Mercury in Gemini squaring the North Node Pisces, South Node Virgo. Now, these nodes are getting to the end of their cycle in Pisces and Virgo. Mercury in Gemini, you know, are we going to be communicating, thinking about the North Node Pisces, our spiritual higher aspects of ourselves, also with the square, you know, to the South Node in Virgo, you know, are we working, overworking? Are we being too particular? You know, is our thinking getting all caught up with obsessiveness, all right, with the Virgo South Node, or are we just not wanting to think with the North Node in Pisces? You know, we just not wanting to look at issues that need to be looked at with the Mercury in Gemini, things to be done, right? Things we need to do. Are we escaping, right, with the North Node in Pisces? Or are we being too judgy, too workaholic-y, you know, too particular about certain things and getting caught up in those thoughts, all right? So that is Wednesday. And on Wednesday as well, Tuesday, Northern Hemisphere, we've got Mercury trining that retrograde Pluto. Mercury in Gemini, our thinking, our communicating. Pluto in Aquarius, the collective, right? Or the community, or your local community. Mercury is local community in Gemini, all right? It's travel. It's a get about energy. Mercury in Gemini, a get about energy, get about town. You know, maybe donating something for the community at a thrift shop or doing something for our local community. We will have the mind for it in Gemini and the motivation for it in Gemini, the energy therefore, in Gemini, because the next day we have the sun ingressing into Gemini. Right? Well, we've got Mercury in Gemini, the sun in Gemini. We've also got Uranus in Gemini. So as soon as the sun ingresses into Gemini, it will, on the Saturday next week, 7 days from me making this video, the sun will conjunct Uranus, all right? And Gemini won't be too far away. So the sun in Gemini shining that light on our local community, our thinking, you know, our communication online or, you know, through emails, what have you. It's time to communicate, you know, it's time to go and speak, to write, to do, to get things moving in our local area, okay? And on Friday, we have Venus squaring Neptune. Now, Venus, we know, has just ingressed into Cancer, you know, giving us that comfort and that desire to be at home, perhaps, to nurture even ourselves. You know, Cancer is a nurturing sign, you know, but nurturing ourselves is very important. Venus, you know, in Cancer is also about the self-care, our values, our esteem, our self-esteem, you know. And if Venus, if your self-esteem has taken a battering after being in Gemini and lots of people communicating with you and speaking or gossip, you know, the Venus in Cancer is a month that you can just go into your Cancer crab shell and nurture yourself. All right. Now, with Venus squaring Neptune in Aries, perfect time at the end of this next week to maybe pull back a little and go into the home and reflect that feminine energy and to think about what we want to attract that is self-nurturing for ourselves or our family, okay, with the Cancer energy. Yeah, Venus square Neptune in Aries, Venus in Cancer. It's very feminine energy, Venus in Cancer. And, you know, with the Neptune in Aries, we will all be getting a higher awareness, a higher consciousness of that ethereal energy of caring for ourselves. All right, Aries, very much about the self. And that's the way I see it with Neptune in Aries. It's the self, caring for ourselves. You know, with the Pluto in Aquarius, yes, it's all about the collective, but it's firstly about the individual that makes up the collective. And Aquarians are very individualistic, okay? They're really individuals and they love that, okay? So, you know, that Neptune in Aries, for me, with the Pluto in Aquarius, is about individuation and being the best person that we can be, which will raise the frequency of the collective and get us all moving to a more positive place than what we see out there. All right. So Saturday, I will be back next week and we will have the sun conjunct Uranus. All right. So, you know, I might even make Monday's video about that. I think I will. I've just decided. Monday's video will be, you know, Uranus in Gemini. And with that sun, this will be the first time that the sun conjuncts Uranus in Gemini, with another 6 or 7 to come. All right, every year, of course. All right, Mercury will sextile Saturn in Aries, Mercury in Gemini, sextiling Saturn in Aries, back to the self again, back to communicating with the self, having the thoughts, self-talking ourselves to care for ourselves. Us first. Put the mask on yourself, then you can save the others. Bring peace, serenity, and contentment to yourself before you can bring that to others. Yeah, that's how it works. We need to care for ourselves. We cannot add to the burdens others are carrying and putting our stuff onto them. All right? It's too heavy. One human being, it's enough to live for one life. And that's why, you know, with my clients, a lot of them are caring for elderly or disabled children and what have you, and I'm always banging on about it. If we're in a position where we have to care for someone else, we need to care for ourselves. Double up, okay? You'll burn out otherwise. And I've had to learn that lesson, putting others first. So having Saturn in Aries and Neptune in Aries, it's the way to go. And Pluto in Aquarius, it's the way to go. And now Uranus in Gemini, we've got the awakening of how to move forward, all right? So this is the second time I'm making this video. First one, I don't know what I did. Yeah, so I lost that one. So I've moved through quicker than the first one, so you're very lucky. Okay, so lots of aspects. Think about the new moon in less than 24 hours. At that midpoint between Venus and Mars conjunct Algol. Don't lose your head. Get that balance between the feminine, the Venus, and the masculine. The all about me, all about others. Get that balance in Taurus. Okay, new moon in Taurus. It's a lovely time to comfort ourselves. Look after ourselves and our desires with Taurus. Ground ourselves. Get back into the body. Back into the body. All right. And with the Mars ingressing into Taurus, we need to slow down. If we've been bull of the gate, crazy, you know, consciously. Mercury there. Consciously. Mercury in Gemini, consciously slow down. Take it easy. If you've had jam-packed action in the last couple of months, call a pause if you need to. All right, well, that's it for me. And thank you very much for watching. I do consultations. Those details are in the description box. And I have another channel, but I'll see you on Monday. Thank you so much. My beautiful subscribers that are left there, I don't know what's happening, but I know a few of you out there, and thank you so much for supporting me to get my voice out. All right. Thank you. And I love you all, and I'll see you soon. Bye.